All right, so I'm not sure you can see the blue. These are the colors we'll be working with today, and I want to make a butterfly dragon, which I've made in red and black before, but this time obviously going for a very different color scheme because recently I was introduced to the beautiful mother of pearl moth. I think they're beautiful, and they inspired this color scheme. I also have a lot of these colors, so I want to find a way to use them up. And speaking of using stuff up, hold on. I have tons of scrap yarn and scrap fabric, which I'm obviously going to cut up smaller, that I want to try using as stuffing. One of the things that I like to do in my art already is upcycle. And I thought, I have tons of this. Why not try it? It's still super soft, things like that. We probably won't finish this all at once because it's a pretty detailed pattern, so we'll keep coming back to it. Another thing about this pattern is this it has this like armored plate on the belly. And I'm not sure if I'll make that because I want to see how it would look without it. But I think I have enough yarn too. So most of it is going to be white, like the moth, and because I have a lot of this color. It wasn't intentional to wear like faux pearl jewelry today, but it's pretty. I took a break for Christmas and my work was closed on actual Christmas, but we got like so many weird customers right before and after it. Like, for some reason, lots more people are coming in to shop right before the store closes for some reason. And some of them are like old people. And I'm like, what are you doing grocery shopping at 9:30 p.m.? Obviously, I didn't say that, but that's what I was thinking. Basically, we're starting at the very end of the tail, which is why this looks so small right now. Speaking of scrap yarn, I'm going to have to clip off this tail soon, but I could put it right back into the dragon. In all honesty, it's been so long since I got most of my yarn. I don't remember where it's all from. So unfortunately, like if you wanted to replicate this, I couldn't tell you exactly what I was using, but that's why I save like the labels now. I also found a really cool pattern for a Luna moth dragon, and I'm not sure if I have the materials for it right now, but it's something I want to make in the future. Where did I okay, there's my stitch marker. I did consider making this all monochrome, like all white, but I feel like then it would be harder to see the details. I have like this much black yarn, which is causing me some dismay because it stands out really well against a backdrop of white, but I don't think I have anywhere near enough to add all of the accents on this. That's one of the reasons why I started looking into different colors. And it also makes it hard because I wanted to use it with the orange and make like a Halloween cat. And then it got really busy around Halloween, so I couldn't make it for this Halloween. And then I realized that was all the black and orange I have. So I'm not sure I even have enough to make a tiny cat. So I guess if I make another like scrap yarn tabby cat, it's just going to have black and the orange in it. Kind of maybe like a calico cat, but I also don't have any brown. So I don't know. If you haven't seen it before, the orange is a small amount of yarn that I have that is not like normal orange. It's like neon orange, which means it doesn't go with anything, and I don't know what to do with it. Basically, when I was younger, I would collect a lot of yarn without really having a plan for it. And over the years, it kind of just built up. So now I have lots of yarn, and I'm trying to go through that before I buy any new yarn. Like there might be a time when I have to, but I really want to use up my stash and not waste it. We do need to stuff this as we go, but we might have to use like the scissors or a pencil or something because this is very small. I am using a smaller yarn than the last time I did this pattern, so I'm curious to see if that'll make the whole dragon much smaller or if it'll just be like a slight difference. I also have a lot of yellow yarn, so I thought about making like a swallowtail butterfly, but I don't think I have enough to make like the body and the head and the wings and all the legs. So now I'm just trying to think of other like yellow things, and I might just use it to make a bunch of cats because I like them. All right, let's add a tiny amount of stuffing because if we try to do this when the tail is longer, it will just be even more difficult. I do want to I want to point out in a minute, one of the yarns I'm going to be using as an accent is slightly shiny, so I think that'll make it really cool. Like that's the color I'm going to be using for the sort of main back frill on this. This is one of the accent colors, and it's about the same weight as this, so I think it should be fine, but it's a little bit shimmery, and I think that'll look really cool. It reminds me of how butterfly wings in real life, they shine a tiny bit. I think the first time I used this scrap yarn stuffing method was with a leafy sea dragon that I made a long, long time ago. It's still one of my favorites. I didn't realize I would stuff this so tightly, but it'll probably look more normal once it's like finished. When I first saw the mother of pearl moth, it was in a drawing. So I didn't realize that it was like a real creature that existed. At first I thought it was like a fantasy insect. And then I looked it up and I was like, wow, that's real. All right. We're gonna increase again in this round. So right now this probably looks tiny, but we're actually like enlarging it pretty quickly. This will probably be smaller than the first butterfly dragon, like I said earlier. But I think it's cute. All right, gonna add a tiny bit more stuffing. I'm trying not to use like super dark colors of scrap yarn because then they will probably be more visible. But something I've noticed a lot when I crochet is once the project is finished, like the tension evens out more, then you can't really see the stuffing at all. Okay, so now we're going to do 6 rounds of 8 stitches each. I do have enough shades of green that I think I could make some kind of Luna Moth thing, but not enough to make like the whole Luna Moth dragon. So I'm not sure. I also have a lot of yarn that's a much heavier weight than this, mainly in like purple. So I want to find something to do with it. I don't know. I might try and make a dragon with it, but I don't think I have enough. So I would have to intentionally make it like scrap yarn. I might also try a different style of doing the tiny details. Um, if you look up this pattern, you should be able to find where you just sew on like little bits onto the wings to look like dots or dashes of color. And I want to try and put them in a pattern where there's like 3 spots of pink in the middle, for example, and then on either side there's like blue. See? I do really like also that this yarn is super soft. So because between that and this being small, I think it'll be like a good cuddle buddy. I do have a much larger dragon that I made that is named Nergida, and you can buy her on my Etsy right now. She's just like so big. Like I'm pretty sure if I like held her up by her tail, which I would not do because I feel like something would break, she would be like as tall as my little brother. In this, the tail and body are crocheted as one piece, so it'll take a little while. But it's also kind of fun because, like, that's the most important part, and then you can move on to, like, the head or the limbs, and the wings are my favorite part because they're really fun to make. In the original pattern, it does also say to make the horns out of pipe cleaners. I don't have a ton of those on hand, but what I did for the koi fish dragon was I just did some single crochet and then, like, curled it and then sewed it into place, so I might do that for this. I'm not sure what color I'll make the antennae, but maybe purple. I remember I was a little surprised at how small some of the other dragons I made turned out, and not like unpleasantly. I think they're super cute. I just have a hard time understanding like scale when I'm reading something versus when I'm holding it. So it's kind of fun to see like it's a dragon, but it could fit in your pocket. All right, that's round number 6. Actually, it's number 5, but okay. Okay, that's round 6 of this. All right, so next we're going to go up to 10 stitches around. One second, I gotta adjust something. Okay. Okay. So now that we have 10 stitches around, we're going to do 8 rounds of 10 stitches. I feel like when we're in the early stages of making the tail, it always looks more like a horn or a claw. I wonder if I'll use all this up, but I have plenty more. Let's add some more stuffing. Oops. Let me fix that. Seven, 10. Okay, good. 10. Right now, I'm not really using the stitch marker. I'm just counting in my head because there's not that many stitches, but eventually we will absolutely need it. Another thing that these shapes usually remind me of before they're finished is they remind me of a little drinking cup, like the kind with the pointy end. Row number 3. This also reminds me of a tooth because of the color. It's not a tooth, but I guess I could give this dragon teeth. I don't know. I feel like that would look weird. I think the real mother of pearl butterfly, as you can guess from its name, is just like slightly shimmery. So I think that works really well for the pink yarn too. One second, I forgot to set up one thing. Ten stitches around. Okay, that's row 5. Another thing that ends up in here sometimes is thread from my sewing projects, and it's super small, but I'd really like to reuse that too. Look, I think it's starting to look like a tail. Row number 6. Some of the yarn that I have now, I didn't buy new also. A lot of it was handed down, like, from family members, which means that I definitely don't know where it came from. Gonna stuff some more soon. Okay. 6, 7, 8. Okay. So now we're gonna increase to 12 stitches around. Okay. 'Alright, so now we're gonna do 4 rounds of 12 stitches. Oh. I still don't know, like, that many butterflies, but something I really noticed after looking at them more is a lot of them are pretty big. Like, a lot of them are at least the size of my hand, and for some reason, maybe, like, I don't see them that often, I thought a lot of butterflies and moths were, like, this big. But no, they can get, like, this big, and they're really fuzzy, so they remind me of little mammals. It's fun to see when you're working with, like, really short rounds and a lot of them, just how quickly the thing you're working can change. Because when I started this, I was like, "Oh, man, I don't know how much we're gonna finish today," but it's going really quickly. Gonna stuff this again pretty soon. I'm trying not to, like, overstuff it and stretch it out, but I also want it to not be too squishy. 1, 3, 6, 9, 12. Okay. Okay. So this is the so far. It looks even more like a tooth now. It reminds me of a big tusk, or maybe a stalactite. I have so much gray yarn for some reason that I might have to make some kind of stalactite dragon. I'm not sure if I'll have like completely enough scrap yarn to stuff the entire dragon, but I want to do as much as I can. We should end up with 14 stitches at the end of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 12, 14. Okay, good. Oh, I misread it. We need to end up with 18 stitches. Okay. round after this should end with 24 stitches. So now we're enlarging more quickly, which I think means we're getting to the torso. Yeah, it looks a little bit like a drinking cup right now. Now we're going to increase in every third stitch. Before it was every other one. I mainly use this crochet hook because it goes really well with this weight of yarn. It is getting a workout because this is going to be a very detailed pattern, but I love how it looks in the end, so I'm really excited for it. For a while, this will probably look like some kind of plesiosaur before I make the limbs, but eventually it'll look like a dragon. 'Kay, so as you can see, very different. Now it is time to increase to 30 stitches. 1, 2, 3. We're increasing in every fourth stitch now. 2, 3, 4. I think some of the scrap yarn in here is from Rita. Once I'm done adding the 30 stitches, then we'll do 10 rounds of that, and then I think we'll be done for today. Let me count. Right now, this looks like some kind of mushroom. Someone's probably made a mushroom dragon pattern. If I don't use up all of this purple yarn, I want to use it to make, I think it's the Crochet Clouds berry cow pattern. It was originally for like a strawberry milk cow, but I think it could work for blackberry or mulberry. One, 2, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 28. Okay. So gotta add some more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27. Okay, almost done. All right, let's count again. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 31. Okay, we can take one out. Okay. 12, 15, 21, 24, 30. Okay. So now we're going to do 10 rounds of 30 stitches, and that will start on the torso. All right, starting on row 5. Or maybe they're still missing. Originally, I was going to do all 10 of these rounds today, but I actually realized I have some other stuff to do and it's taking a bit. So we're going to stop here for today. But once this is done, and after I set a few more things up, so probably in at least a week, I may not finish it in a week. Yeah, actually, come to think of it, because I'll be working on this for a little while. Once I'm done this will be available on my Ko-fi. Not this strange mushroom looking thing. The dragon, once it is finished, it will be a plushie that you can buy. So I'm going to spend the next couple of days and weeks setting that up, and I will see you there.